From a young age, we are taught that there are two kinds of people in the world. There are leaders and there are followers. And like many other children, I was encouraged from the very beginning to become a leader. And in my case, that simply meant running to become the student council representative for my third grade class. After attending a few meetings, I started to feel something that I hadn't necessarily felt before. I felt powerful. Now that I had implemented leadership in the work aspect of my life, I decided it was time to implement it in the play. One day, as me and my friends were arguing about who was going to be it in the next game of tag at the park in front of our house, I came up with a brilliant idea. I turned my head to the crowd and yelled at the top of my lungs, "Last one to the play structure is it." And as if they had been put into a trance, all of the kids ran to the play structure in an effort to not be it. From that day on, I became the unofficial leader of the park, but that wasn't enough for me. I felt that I needed everybody else to know that I was their leader as well. So I decided to hold a park election, almost certain that I would win the position of president. But after the votes were tallied and the results were announced, I got the biggest shock of my 9-year-old life. I had lost. Instead, the girl who had won was my best friend. And although I was happy for her, I was extremely confused. As in my mind, she was not a leader. She was a follower. She was quiet, shy, and she simply listened to what everybody else told her to do. After throwing a temper tantrum, I decided that I should actually find out why I had lost, and I decided to ask one of the other kids. He bluntly told me that it was because I was too bossy. I never listened to what the other kids asked to play, and I simply made my own decisions. And in that moment, I learned something that I would never forget. There was a very significant difference between being a leader and being a person in power. In that instance, I did have power, but I did not have the qualities of a true leader. So I decided to make it a mission of my own to find out what it truly meant to be a leader, something that Toastmasters allowed me to do. And after a couple of years, I was able to narrow it down to 3 main things, the first being effective communication. Back in the age where carrier pigeon was our main source of communication, you had a little leeway when you wouldn't respond to a message right away. But now, when there's more social media platforms and mail servers than we can keep count of, there's no excuse for not getting back to someone. By effectively responding to messages and being a good communicator, you not only streamline the process, but you maintain transparency throughout your team. The second quality is being open-minded. I'm sorry to break it to you, but your idea isn't amazing. And even if it is amazing, it's most definitely not the best. By being open to other people's ideas, you make sure that whatever you're working on is the best it can be. Because everybody's ideas will come together to make the final product, and not only will everyone feel included, but your product will come out the best. The third quality, which I believe is the most important, is accountability, or as I like to call it, taking one for the team. When something goes wrong, it's extremely easy to just point to the person at your left and blame it on them. But a true leader will analyze how their own actions played into a failure to make sure that they don't repeat those actions again, rather than just saying it was someone else's fault. By taking the blame when necessary and seeing how your actions affected something, you not only make sure it doesn't happen again, but you grow as a leader. 7 years later, I'm glad to say that I'm no longer that 9-year-old dictator that I used to be, but I do have a lot of room to grow. I still have some trouble responding to messages that I don't want to, or listening to other people's ideas. But I have improved a lot, and I'm a strong believer in the fact that no matter what stage of your life you're in, you can also learn to lead. Thank you.